Hi, it's Jane with Scraptastic Yarns podcast. You'll notice that I've been wearing the same shirt past couple of days. That's because I'm filming ahead. I do have quite a few things I have to do. So, you know, I got to do a little cheating to get up to that point. Today, I had told you last podcast that I would show you some of the footage from the fair, items that were in the fair, and I'm going to show you the video that I took of the fair. One of the first things that I took when I went out there, not only to see my items and to see the other items that were entered, because this fair is fairly small, and we used to have an entire time that went from one doorway all the way to the end of the open show building. It's gotten smaller and smaller each time. I think there were maybe 2 long tables worth of crocheted knitted items. So that it's kind of disappointing, but there were quite a few more quilted items. So that was nice to see more quilted items in there. A couple of years ago, we had talked with the gals that help form the categories and those kind of things. And the one thing that we had all talked about was we're pretty upset about the way they do things. And I'm going to first show you a video of one of the items that I made 2 years ago. And that was the last thing I put into the fair. Put in quite a few things that year, and everything took a ribbon. But my problem is the way that they displayed the item. It was a mandala. Pretty much, I don't know if it's the same one that Ella is working on right now, or if it was one of Helen's other mandalas that I had done. But I had done this mandala blanket. It was huge. It was beautiful. It was stunning. But when you see the picture of the way that it was displayed, I think you'll get an idea of what I mean. The ladies had come to us and asked us, the Naughty Knitters group at the hospital, for suggestions. And one of the first things that we suggested was get rid of the hay bales. Everything is displayed on hay bales at that time. And, it can ruin items that you've crocheted knitted sitting on a hay bale, and then when you go to take it off. I know it was a cheap way to display things, but every year they have to get new hay bales. So our thing was, why can't you make some simple simple screens, basically, like you would do a chicken wire between poles that you could hang items on to display. And they did take that suggestion. They made some shelving. Of course, the shelving is where they put all the quilts. They did put a few of the crocheted items on there. But they didn't listen to anything else we said about the way that things were displayed. And in the past, we were told that we couldn't have any props to display items on. Although many times I've brought items with a prop, and they said, well, that's not fair for judging. Well, that has nothing to do with judging. But we also had a complaint about the judging, because you have no idea what they've judged you on. Other fairs that I've entered into in New Mexico, Texas, North Carolina, Arkansas, you name it, you received a critique of your work, and it told you the workmanship was wonderful, stitches were a little loose, stitches were not well defined. It gave you a lot of information about ways to improve your items, and they don't do this at this fair. And they don't always get judges who know anything about crochet, because many times they display things backwards, not the correct way. Although this year they are allowing us to tell them how you want it displayed. That's a little acquiesce that they've given us. But so last year I didn't enter anything because I was so disappointed. This year I chose to enter 14 items. All 14 items took some kind of ribbon. Although there's a new ribbon this year. It's a yellow gold one. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's fourth, honorable mention, what. The white has always been third place. And they may have changed that one too. It may be fourth place. Of course, blue is, first place, red second. And, but you really have no clue what third or fourth is. The way that they displayed these items this year, you really couldn't tell on many of the items if they received a ribbon or not, or who had done it, because they don't put name cards out there. They don't really print the name correctly. When they do the categories and everything on this sheet, when you fill it out to put your item in, there's a number. And that number tells them everything they need to know about the item. It really does. Because that number is specific, like luncheon cloth, doily, crocheted solid. That number, that is the only number that corresponds to that. But then they have a description area where they want you to write the description. They have had people in the past, and when you walk in there, they want you to write the description as blue doily. Yet, they'll disqualify you. Someone else will come back and disqualify it because you didn't write the description as crocheted, comma, solid. So, that's one problem that they still haven't gotten sorted out yet. But I try to enter things because I want this to continue. I want it to be an event. Hopefully it'll grow. So far it's just been going downhill. But yeah, I'll keep entering. That will be, I'll first show you the picture, which is done in a video, of the mandala blanket I made 2 years ago. The second video will be a video that I took of someone who is called the Fearless Flores. We were eating lunch, and we watched her across from the way. She had started practicing a routine, and she is one of those that rides the motorcycle in the cage that goes around upside down all around. But she also does one in a wire cage. I don't know what you call these, but it's basically open. They used to have where you'd have one on one side, one on the other. It had a person in this one, person in this one. They did certain routines in it, gymnastics, those kind of things. She is in a single. And I did talk with her a little bit after I'd filmed the practice session, because at the very end it looks like she's going to put a hood over her head. And we were like, ugh, that kind of thing. But she didn't do that. She instead got off and told those kids and everybody that was sitting around in the bleachers she was done for now until the show. But she does jump rope on this wire cage on the outside of it. And it was kind of interesting to watch the practice. When I talked with her, she said she had always done the riding the bike in the cage. She had always been part of a double, whatever they call that, suspended cage, balancing cage. But when she was in New Mexico, she had a fellow that approached her and asked her if she'd be willing to do it in a single, because there were no women that did a single balance cage. I'm going to call it that for lack of knowing what it is. And she told him, nope, don't do it. I do it with a partner. And he kept asking her, kept pestering her, and she's very good at what she does. And finally, she said that I quoted him this totally outrageous price. He said, yep, you got it. So she's been doing it for the past 3 years. 3 years when you see her on this. So it was interesting to see. Then we move on to, we have a show that is called Sizzling Seniors. For about an hour, hour and a half, seniors that get up and have talent will do something. And I filmed just a little snippet of that. Um, I've I wanted to film the woman that played a saw with a bow, like violin bow. But I didn't. I was so mesmerized by what I was seeing, I forgot to film that, so I apologize for that. But it was interesting to see. I still don't know how she kept these strings from being cut with the saw, because it's a saw that she actually used to cut down Christmas tree that year, and it's a regular saw you get at the hardware store. So it was interesting to see that play. This is the video I have is a group of seniors who play together a guitar, and there's a fellow in front that plays the spoons. So I did a little bit of that. And as we were leaving, we had the Elvis impersonator. So I filmed just a few seconds of that. And that was pretty much my day at the fair, with the exception of getting funnel cake at the end. Funnel cake is something I always look forward to at the fair, and I don't think a fair is a fair without funnel cake. So I got funnel cake, and that was my dinner that night. Of course, my poor husband didn't have anything to eat. I thought I had gotten out pulled pork that I had frozen, and it was still frozen. So, of course, he hopped in the car and went to Arby's, got him something else for supper. And then the next night, my friend Winnie, I've never had a fluffernutter sandwich, and so she made me a fluffernutter sandwich with Peter Pan peanut butter. And that's something I grew up with, Peter Pan. And I used Peter Pan peanut butter for years until they had that big, I think it was salmonella scare. And of course, my husband grew up on Jif, so then we switched to Jif, and we've been doing Jif ever since because that's what he prefers. But I had my first fluffernutter sandwich last night, and it was very good. And I really appreciate it. Thank you, Winnie. So that's it for going to the fair today. And I will see you Sunday. Bye. The last video, which I forgot to mention, so I'm adding that in, is the video that was actually of me walking through the open division of those items: quilted, crocheted, knitted, tatted, anything else that they had in that area. So you'll kind of get an idea of the way that they displayed things and some of the problems about seeing, who won and what they won. So enjoy. I told you I'd see you Sunday. Nope, it's Monday I'll see you. Bye. She's jumping now.
Oh, you know why she's jumping? I bet there's water in it. She's trying to get the water off. God bless her.
I can see me now.
But you look, she's not moving real fast.
No.
Now, I bet you can get it going fast.
There, she's starting. You see how she's taking her
Yeah.
hands and pulling? Look at that. She's going to make it go fast.
Woo! Oh. God bless her. It's all about balance, for sure. Oh my God! She's been doing that a few years.
Well, at least a week.
A week? How do you think a week?
I wonder how old she is.
No, I think she's in her 40s. Yeah.
What's she doing with this? Is he holding it there?
Yeah, there's two round things and he's holding on to one of them.
no, she took those off. Now you put those on. Oh, I bet they're weights. You know it.
How'd she get there?
She just climbed right out there like she's a monkey.
This is one of these things, so don't try this at home.
You know what? You listen. I bet she's not
He's
American.
down there with the
I bet
thing.
she's not American. I just
European?
heard her speak. I would say she's European.
Oh, you think
And not she's a peon, but she's European.
Like Romanian.
Yeah.
she's definitely a gymnast of some sort.
She's got a freaking jump rope on that though. She's got a jump rope. Yeah, like I'd be doing that.
She has to bend her head down. Didn't work, did it?
She threw it down. She knows when to do it and not to do it.
Scratch my back and run your pretty fingers through my black sweaty mess of hair. I know I'll be enslaved if you ask me to. If you don't behave, I want to ride out on you. If you don't want me to be cold as ice, treat me nice, treat me nice.
What is a gold ribbon?
Is that usually third?
I think white is third. It'd help if they'd had it turn around where you could see it.
I can't read what that says.
It just says Clinton County Fair.
What are you looking, buddy? Do you have flowers? Yeah, look at flowers.
Bunny took a blue. Okay, let's go through. The rabbit took a blue. My little rose took a second. My doily took a blue. Dragon took a second. My hat and scarf set took a second. My dress took a blue. My vest took a second. Dress, the green cardigan took a blue. Gloves took a red. My doily took a blue. My shawl took a red. My mandala took a red. My little baby hat took a third. My baby blanket took a gold, but I believe gold is just honorable mention. Penguin hat took a third. I believe that's all I had in there. Not too bad. The quilts that are up on the back are from the Center County Peacemakers Quilt Guild. Quite a few nice quilts this time. Miss Betty's blue quilt took a red. And look what got best in show. This is absolutely adorable. It's a baby Afghan. Look at this piece of art. That is a corner to corner. Took a blue. And they've got right next to it the picture of the dog that it was made from. absolutely gorgeous. It took a blue. That's a baby wall hanging. Well, folks, that's it for our small little display of needlework. I decided not to put in the beadwork that I had just because it was too many items. I've already got 14 to keep track of. So everything I put in placed somewhere. Not that that's the big thing. My big deal is that people are putting things into the fair, because this side, as you can see, is pretty small. It just runs about 20 feet, and we'd like to see a lot more entrance, so I'm hoping there'll be more next year. Alright, see you guys next week. Bye.